What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Faithful Fanatics Flyers recap review with intern Dave. Dave, how are we feeling today?
I'm feeling better than I was at the end of that third period last night. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
you were not too happy,
I
buddy.
was not happy. But I mean, every day's a good day after a Flyers win. I'll give you that.
Definitely is. So, Dave, we did it. We did a recap yesterday after having a few days off, reviewing games 3 and 4, and then looking into game 5. And we just kept saying, take it one game at a time. That's all you need to do when you're down 3-1 in a 7-game series. You can't focus on game 6. Can't focus on game 7. You can only focus on the task at hand. And the Flyers did that. So the Flyers came out in the first period. They were the better team in the first period. We said yesterday how the Flyers probably had only won 3 of those periods in the entire first 4 games, and they came out and looked like the better team, which I still believe that they are the better team than the Islanders. However, no goals are put in the back of the net. So that word kept going in my mind, execution. And I kept waiting for the Islanders to come down and put one in the back of the net and really put a deflating feeling in this team and in myself and everyone watching. But it didn't happen because Carter Hart was standing on his head from puck drop. So then, what did you see in the first period besides the Flyers kind of controlling the tempo of the game?
Yeah, like you said, they came out. They played with a purpose, and I mean, like we were talking before the show went live, they really could have been up 1-2-0 at the end of that first period, and then that would have changed the whole narrative of the game. And really, I think the Flyers controlled that. I think the Flyers won the first and the second period, even though the Islanders came out and scored first in the second. I think that
– Did they?
I don't know. I think 2 goals in the second.
Yeah, they definitely won the second, I think.
But yeah, I think that the first period was huge though, because they set the tempo of the game and they let the Islanders know that they weren't going to roll over and let the Islanders just beat up on them.
Yeah. So before we get to that exciting second period and drama-filled second period, did that worry you though? Because we keep talking about execution, and the Flyers' offense has been so stagnant and hasn't been able to put the puck in the back of the net often this series. And again, you just said they dominated the first period, and it was still 0-0 going into the second. So was that a concern for you going into the second period?
Yeah,
it was for me.
Yeah, definitely. That's always a concern when you're getting these chances and you're not burying them, because against the team as good as the Islanders are, your chances are limited. You're not going to get too many. So it's always worrisome when you're getting these chances and you're getting these looks and they're not in the back of the net. Like you said during the game that Greiss started, you said that Greiss was keeping him in the game and it was worrying you. And look what happened. Greiss stole the game. That it kind of looked like that was how it was going to go after that first period. So it definitely does worry you a little bit when you're getting these great looks, you're hitting the post, your shots are going wide, goalies are making saves. It definitely puts that thought in your head, like, is that going to be the story of the game?
Right. Okay, so the first period was all Flyers, however, no execution, 0-0 going into the second. The second period comes out, and Dave, you referenced it and gave you a little bit of a look because, yes, the Islanders technically scored first. The score was 1-0. But I want to talk about this for a second because, one, I thought, look, the Flyers won anyway, and even if they lost, I wasn't going to harp on that call because we'll get to how they blew another 3-1 lead. And you can't worry about a bad call when you blow a lead late in the third period. But at the time in that second period, how in the hell is that an Islanders goal? Now, I understand you said it before we went live that Pitlick kind of drove Barzal into Carter Hart and into the crease. I understand that. It happens a lot. However, if that's the case, that has to be a roughing call. That play does not go. It should have been blown dead if that's the case. So then, I also was not aware. I mean, if someone wants to tell me that I'm wrong, that Matt Barzal can then stay in the crease and not make any attempt to get out of the way in the crease, and also hold Ivan Provorov's stick in the meantime so he can't make a play on the puck behind the net.
Yeah, it's a real gray area type of call. And I mean, looking back, I was pissed when I was watching the play unfold. I was sitting there like this, like, what is going on? Why isn't this play blown dead? Carter Hart's out of his crease. I think the main issue with Carter Hart not being able to make a save and the puck going in the net was Pitlick laying on top of Carter in his way. But I do have a major issue with Barzal was drove into the crease by Pitlick. But my major issue with it is, and you can make the call, you don't make the call, whatever you want to do, is that Barzal is holding the crossbar with one hand.
Yes, and Provorov
back Provorov with the other hand, and he's looking at Eberle, I think it was, with his legs together, and he's basically like insinuating, bank it off me and put it in. And he's not making any attempt to get out of the crease. And that just sat bad with me. I get it that he was pushed into the crease, and I mean, it sucks looking back on it. Can't dwell on that type of thing, on those type of things.
But I wasn't aware that because you get pushed into the crease, you could just sit there and eat your lunch.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. And the replay makes it even worse because if you count it down, dude, he stood there for 5, 6 seconds. He had no attempt to get out of the way. And I understand maybe they looked at it and saw Pitlick on the ground, and that was another thing that hindered them changing that. Hold on, I'll get to his comment. But I did not know. Like, someone please tell me if I'm wrong. But my God, Matt McGinty, part of the Phaithful Phanatics show. Scott Lawn isn't the hero we want, but he's the hero we need. Again, that could not be less of a true statement. Scott Lawn is no hero. He will never be a hero. Okay?
God, he's
I'm glad he deflected Provorov's shot from the point in. But no. Miss me with the Scott Lawton talk. So then, Dave, all right, I don't want to talk about the refs anymore because the Flyers obviously still came out with a W. So let's get to the fun part of it. So the Islanders take that 1-0 lead with a bad call in my eyes. The Flyers challenge it, obviously. It doesn't get overturned. So then that puts the Flyers on another penalty kill because it's a delay of game. That now I'm nervous because there was a deflating feeling in my stomach. It's almost halfway through the second period, I think, at the time. And in an elimination game, and you're trailing, and we know how good the Islanders' defense is. So you're down 1-0, and you're on a penalty kill. I'm thinking, if this game gets to 2-0, you're in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, that was a huge kill. And what one kind of comparison I was talking about with my dad is that AV is kind of aggressive in the same sense as Doug Peterson a little bit, if you know what I mean. If he sees that there's any chance that he could get a call or some type of play to go his team's way, he's going to go for it. You know what I mean? If there's any chance of a good outcome, he's going to go for it, and he's going to try and get that extra edge for his team, which I'm perfectly fine with. But man, after that goal, that was a huge kill to get that penalty off. Huge.
The kill was huge, and then the follow-up, in my opinion, was huge because you didn't see this Flyers team, as you referenced earlier, roll over and lay down and just say, we're done. They get the bad call. They go down 1-0. They kill off the penalty, which is a little bit of momentum for them. And then, as AV referenced before the game, the big boys put their big boy pants on, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Claude Giroux gets his first goal in I don't know how many playoff games, 26, 27 playoff games.
Something like that.
He got off the schneid, which was huge. And I think not just for him, I think for the entire team to get one in. And it was a great goal. But the fact that it wasn't like a typical shot on goal, a shot on net, reflection, with his back to the net, he's skating out towards the shot and puts a stick out and deflects it between Varlamov's legs, or it went under his arm, wherever it went, and got into the back of the net. So that's huge. Then you tie the game up, and you continue to play strong. You continue to control the period. You continue to get pucks deep, and then you get a rush the other way, and James Van Riemsdyk gets one on a stick on a 2-on-1 and puts it in the back of the net. Another guy that AV referenced, the only two guys from that 2010 Cup run and that 2010 3-0 deficit to Boston run, they put on their big boy pants. They scored. They got the Flyers the lead. Dave, so after those two goals, how are you feeling going into the third period?
Really good. I thought that was the game. I thought that they saw that goal from Barzal, and they were like, that's not how it's going to go. And like I said, after that Giroux goal, we were texting, and I said, that's got to fire that bench up. You know what I mean? Your captain, you're like, G gets that first goal. that's got to fire that bench up. And it looked like it did. They came out and they put another one in not that long ago, put one in early in the third. They were playing outstanding hockey. And if they can put together 60 minutes like that type of hockey, there's no question that they can beat this Islanders team in the next 2 games.
Yep.
If they can do that's my opinion. It was huge. That goal was huge.
So then I was feeling great going into the second because I felt like they were dominating everything.
Yeah.
Dominating the pace of the game, the tempo of the game, controlling the puck, dominating in shots attempted. So then the third period comes, and the one thing I just said was, this is before the Niskanen goal, so it's still 2-1 at this point. Puck drop, third period, and I'm like, they cannot sit back and play that defensive, clear the puck, hold on for dear life for 20 minutes because they will beat you. They didn't do that. They came out strong. Niskanen puts one in 4 minutes into the third period. You go up 3-1. Another veteran guy who wasn't playing that well in this series puts one in the back of the net. And now you got a 3-1 lead against the Islanders team. And I'm like, okay, now like this game, they have control of this game. It wasn't like game 2 when they were up 3-0 in the first period and then gave up 3 goals. It was you were down 1-0, you came back. Now it's 3-1. They're controlling you.
Yep.
After they scored the third goal, I know the announcer said I think it was more than 10 because they kept piling on after the announcer had referenced it, but the announcer had said that it was 10-1 Islanders' favor in shots on goal after that Niskanen goal, and then they kept piling on. So you got thoroughly outplayed, outskated, out hustled, like just the whole one was all Islanders when you're the team that needs to hold on and force a game 6. So what do the Flyers do? They get out hustled, outworked, outshot, and they give up 2 goals in a minute and 33-second span with like less than 4 or 5 minutes left in the game. And that was so deflating to me. Like if the Islanders would have scored with 9 or 10 minutes left and then some time went on and they pulled their goalie, you know what I mean? To give up 2 goals in a minute and a half when you got to under 4 or 5 in the final 20 minutes, that is what really, I guess, killed my hopes. I thought it was over at that point. The first goal, I will say this, we'll get to Carter Hart after the game, but after we finish up the game recap. But the second goal for the Islanders, I think that's on him. I know was it Martin? He got it off his stick quickly. It was a great shot. It was under the crossbar. I get that. Carter's got to make that save. It was like beyond the dots, the circles, and just inside the blue line. Like he's got to make that glove save. And then the second goal, I can't really fault him for because it was a pass behind the net. It was a great pass. Haig doesn't get a stick on it, and it's just an empty net on the other side. So it's 3-3 going in overtime. Dave, how are you feeling now?
I didn't want to watch it. But I mean, like you said, that second goal from the Islanders was tough. I mean, it's a save. I think if you're talking to Carter, he says I got to make that save, but it's tough. It's in a weird area between your head, your glove, and your shoulder. Perfect shot right underneath the bar. I can't fault him too much for it. I agree. He probably wanted it back, and it probably could have been a save 9 times out of 10. It was just a great shot. And like you said, the third goal was a great play, but you just can't give them those opportunities.
No.
You can't. Like we said, you got to string together 60 minutes of full, like let's go hockey, if you know what I mean. And when you don't do that, they're going to outshoot you 10-1, 12-1, 14-1, whatever it was. And then that's how you blow those leads, and that's how you lose those games.
Yep.
So going in overtime, I was not feeling well, not at all.
Not at all. But I guess that is you can attribute that to the head coach, who I am going to rip in a few minutes, just a little bit. But I think he does a great job of, and it could be the veteran leadership in Giroux and JVR as well, and Coots. But AV definitely plays a huge role in the fact that in game 2 and game 5, Flyers win 4-3 in overtime. And why is that? Because for all of us, they blow a 3-0 lead, it goes to overtime in game 2. They blow a 3-1 lead, it goes to overtime in game 5. And you're kind of so deflated and out of it, and you just think there's no way this team can come out with enough momentum and enough energy to save the season. and he has them ready. Like, they looked energized. I know the Islanders had, like you were saying earlier, like it just seemed like Islanders shot, Islanders block shot, but the Flyers had good looks early in that overtime. He robbed Kevin Hayes on a from a Travis Konechny pass in front of the crease. There was a couple. They hit the cross. Kevin Hayes had a deflection, one off the crossbar. And then what happens, Dave? Another shot from the point. Yes, again, if you're still watching, I know Scott Lawton gets a stick on it, deflects it. Couldn't be happier that he did it. No, he's not the hero we need. But I can't. From what I'm trying to get to is, I'm very impressed with the fact that this team can have the lowest of lows and blow these big leads late in a playoff game with the season on the line, and then completely look like they regroup and snap out of it and come out in the overtime period a completely different team.
Yeah. I mean, and that comes – I think that starts with AV, and then that trickles down from Drew. I know Coots wasn't there, but like Voracek and these older players that have been in these situations, like I believe Niskanen's a cup winner, I believe, with Washington.
Yeah.
You know, you've got these older guys that can help, you know, the periods 1, 2, and 3 don't matter anymore. It's overtime. First goal wins. Let's get it. You know what I mean? It's a different mindset going into overtime when you know you have to win, rather than going into the third when you're trying not to lose.
Like kind of don't worry about how we got here. It doesn't matter if we lead. It doesn't matter if we're down 3-1.
Exactly.
We're here now. Worry about getting the puck in the back of the net and playing good defense. So the Flyers win it in 4-3. They keep their season alive. Before we move on to Game 6, I think Carter Hart had a great game.
Yeah,
he stood on his head. The first goal wasn't a goal. The third goal was a damn near impossible goal for him to save when it got through over by Haig's stick. The second goal is the only one I can really fault him for, and like you said, it was a great shot by Martin. Still should have had it. He definitely wanted it back, but I think that was another you can attribute it to that, the overtime period, to the kid too, because you know whether it's his fault or not, two pucks got by him in a minute and a half in the final minutes of the third period to tie the game. And he didn't look rattled at all. He didn't look like a 22-year-old rookie at all. And he kept the Flyers in it in the first couple minutes of that overtime period.
Yeah. Kid's got nerves of steel, man. I would be shaking if I was out there.
Yeah.
Without any fans. I would be shaking without any fans. You know what I mean?
And Carter Hart is now 4-0 coming off a loss. So, yes, obviously they lost after he lost Game 3, but Brian Elliott was in that night. So after Carter Hart loses a game in these playoffs, he's 4-0 coming off a loss. So, Dave, let's talk about Alain Vigneault for a second, because you know how big of a fan I am of his, and I think he is a great coach for this team.
Yep, I agree.
One of the best Flyers coaches probably since Laviolette, and before that, even before Peter. Yeah. So I have one issue with him, and I think he fixed the formations a little bit. He's been switching up the lines, which has looked good. And he has faith in Carter Hart. My issue is the fact. Now I know in playoff hockey you need 4 lines. I completely get that. Like, you need to be a full 4-line team for the most part to win in playoff hockey, but you do not need to rely on all 4 lines. And for whatever reason, he loves 44, and I cannot stand it. I cannot stand it. Again, if you're watching, I think I might dislike him more than Scott Lawton. I really do, and it's because of AV. It's not anything he's done. He hasn't played terribly, but why? Why is your captain Claude Giroux the best player, probably the best player on your team? You need to be the best player on the ice in this series, and before overtime. Now, I know I referenced the numbers after overtime before we went live, Dave, and it was a little different because Drew got a lot of ice time in the OT period. But before overtime, because you're not expecting the game to go to overtime, Claude Giroux had, what was it? 14-something? Claude Giroux had 14 minutes. I'll tell you right now. whatever. I can't find it because I'm in the total box.
30-something.
14 and a half, 1440, whatever minutes. Nate Thompson had over 14 minutes as well. Derek Grant had over 13 and a half minutes. What?
Oh, I got it. Drew 1447, Thompson 1415, Grant 1343. This team rides Thompson, rides him like he's the best player on the ice. And one of my main issues, I don't know that third goal. I don't know if it was an icing to get.
No, it wasn't. Yes, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was an offensive zone draw. It wasn't icing, so they didn't have to be out there.
Yeah,
and he puts that line out there at the end of the game in a 3-2 game.
I remember it was who's the defensemen were Haig
and Braun.
Braun. Yeah. Thompson took the draw. Konechny was out there, and someone else was. Konechny was right in front of the net when it went in. But I'm not blaming him. But I'm just saying, if you have a defensive zone draw with how much time was left? Two or
three something.
And you know that they're going to have their goal scorers out.
Yeah. They had the Clutterbuck line out.
Well, you have your best line taking that draw to get the puck out of the zone. That blew my mind when I saw Nate Thompson taking that draw. Why isn't Giroux out there? I get it. Couturier would have been out there. Couturier probably would have taken that draw if he wasn't hurt.
But it needs to be Giroux.
Should have been Giroux. And it should have been – I love on the penalty kill Kevin Hayes.
Yeah.
I love Kevin Hayes on the penalty kill.
They weren't on the penalty kill, but he should have been out there.
Kevin Hayes is great in the offensive zone. He's great in the defensive zone too. Outstanding. And I do not understand
Put aside, okay, now do this for me. Put aside the minutes I just threw out at you, even though that is utterly ridiculous.
Yep.
Let's look at the fact that he puts out that line and he puts out 44, Nate Thompson, every single time we score a goal and every single time the Islanders score a goal.
Yep.
Why is your fourth line center and your fourth line the line you go to when you're either A, picking up momentum after a goal and you want to keep the pressure on? That line's not going to score.
Or when your back's against the wall after that.
When your back's against the wall and you're trying to stop them and you're trying to prevent them from going up more, that line has been on the ice and that defensive pairing. Because, dude, that's another thing he does. He puts out the fourth line with the third defensive pairing.
Man, that was
he's better than this.
That was just bad coaching right there, honestly.
What is the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Okay, what does he keep doing? The same thing, and he's getting the same results in this series through 5 games.
Cutting off that fourth line.
Stop.
I have nothing against our fourth line. I think our fourth line is good.
No, it is a deep line. I understand it's nice to have, but they cannot be out there in important moments.
They're good enough to get through a couple shifts to get the first line back on the ice. You know what I mean? To give them some rest. But, man, dude,
they're not going to kill you through the course of a game.
I don't understand why they're on the ice for that goal. Why? I don't get it.
But why is that the line he goes to after any goal is scored? Doesn't matter the time. I mean, that time matters in that case. I understand that. But what is he thinking?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you.
Whatever. I'm done. I don't want to hate. I love AV.
Yeah.
And he's got them. Like I said, whatever he said or did after that third period and the colossal, the drop off that happened at the end of the third period, he got them ready to go for overtime again, just like in game 2. So I think he's a great coach, but everyone talks about the players. He needs to be better.
The little thing.
Yes. Dude, adjust a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, please. Okay. So, Dave, going forward to game 6, you just have to keep the mindset of one game at a time. I know we harped on it so much the other day. I'm going to keep saying it. It is not over until it's over, and one game at a time, one period at a time, one shift at a time. It is that simple. I know you want to look big picture and say, oh, could you imagine if the Flyers come back and win the series down 3-1? Yeah, it's great to think about, but that can't happen until they win this game.
Yep.
So what I said this to you before we went live. I know the Flyers are the team that has the chance to be eliminated tomorrow night. So they should come out hard and fast. But I think you're going to see the Islanders come out as the stronger, faster team in the first couple of minutes, simply because they want no part of a Game 7.
Yep.
No part.
Yep.
What did the Flyers do against the Canadiens in Game 6 when the Canadiens had a chance to force a Game 7 if they win? Provorov comes out literally, a minute and a half in and puts it one in the back of the net.
Yep.
Look for the Islanders to come out fast, get in on their forecheck, try to draw a penalty early, whatever. It's going to be a physical game. So what are you looking to see? Don't worry about the first couple minutes. I think we both expect the same thing for them to come out fast. If the Flyers are the team that comes out stronger, I will be shocked. What needs to happen for the Flyers to keep this series alive in Game 6?
Like you said, I think the Islanders are going to come out tough. So I don't know. I think you gotta weather that storm a little bit, but I think you've gotta just string together 3 good solid periods. You can't take a period off against this team, man.
You can't take a couple minutes off.
I know, because they capitalize on almost everything. And it's so stressful watching just, that heavy feeling of like, oh my God, they're getting shot after shot after shot after shot. We can't get the puck out of the zone. When you can't get the puck out of the zone, they're either going to score or you're going to take a penalty.
Yep.
That's what it is. And I mean, I just think you've got to just string together 3 good periods. If they can string together 60 good minutes of hockey, they can beat this Islanders team. They're the better team. And I think another thing that you've got to look for is that I think that they're going to go with Greiss. I think they might go with Greiss.
You think so?
I think they might. If that's the case, you've got to take advantage of that, man. There's a reason why Varlamov is the starter. And if they put Greiss in, which I'm not certain yet, but I think that they could – I wouldn't be surprised if Barry Trotz puts Greiss in the net. If that's the case, you've got to take advantage of it. You've got to.
If that's the case, either way, in my opinion, but really, if that's the case, you have to get pucks on net early.
Yeah.
Because like we said, after in the game 2, after Varlamov was pulled early, Greiss didn't have any he didn't break a sweat for 3 periods almost, 2.5 periods. So I agree. I think it's going to be the same thing we've been saying. Carter Hart is going to have to play like he did last night, minus a weak goal. I'm not saying that goal was that weak, but that's Game 6. That has to be safe, especially in that time. So I'm looking for a couple things. I'm looking for Carter Hart to keep playing the way he is and kind of keep the Flyers in this game. I'm looking for now the top liners to get it going. JVR scored. He has looked great since coming back in the starting lineup. Giroux got one. Now I'm looking for Konechny. I'm looking for Voracek. I'm looking for Kevin Hayes. I'm looking for the first 2 lines to come out guns blazing and ready to carry this team to a Game 7. And I'm looking for AV to do the opposite of what we were just talking about, what he's been doing, and stop running all 4 lines so often. Obviously, you have to throw your 4th line out there, but throw them out there like you said, Dave, when you need a shift to get the first and second line rested and ready to go. Not in important moments, not at the end of the game, not in over. Dude, they should not see the ice in an overtime period.
At least not till late, I don't think.
Yeah. Unless you're within the first 10 minutes, 9 minutes.
It's got to be your guns, man. It's got to be your guns. You got to try and end that game. You got to try and end that game as soon as overtime starts.
Yep. It has to be 3 lines. And then when things start to wear down and it starts to because in the first couple minutes of overtime, it's going to be both teams getting good chances, whether it's on a fast break or whatever. So there's going to be a lot of good looks early. It has to be those top lines out there. Now, as the period starts to go prolong and break down more, and it's a slower pace, then your 4th line can get out there for a couple shifts. But come on, AB. So Dave, predictions for tomorrow night and your 3 stars.
You brought up the 2010 Boston series earlier, and one thing that happened in that series is that the first game that the Flyers won in that series, Game 4, to save their season, was an overtime winner from Simon Gagne. And after that, the momentum just swung. The Flyers were all over that series, the remainder of the series. The momentum just swung, after that overtime win. So I'm looking for the same thing. I think the Flyers have to come out strong. They have to take whatever the Islanders give them. However fast the Islanders come out tomorrow night, Flyers have to come out harder, if you know what I mean. So I think it's going to be another tight, tough game, man. I think it's going to be 3-2, 4-3. I think that Carter is going to stand on his head when we need him to. But these Islanders guys, they're good, man. They're going to get chances. They're going to put the puck in our net. That's the one thing I've accepted against this team is that you could get 2 shutouts against the Canadians.
Yeah,
you're not really
steady 3 goals.
You're not going to get shutouts against this Islanders team. So you got to be prepared for them to put the puck in the back of your net, but you got to do it more. That's just the bottom line. So I'm thinking 4-3, 3-2. I'm going to say I think G gets his wheels moving, man. I think G comes out, gets another one. I'll say Hayes. Hayes always steps up in big games. And I will say whenever I say a defenseman's going to score, a defenseman scores. So I think it could be Phil Myers again. Those are going to be my 3 stars.
All
G,
right.
Hayes, and Myers.
So I don't even know if I want to give a final score prediction because I gave one last night and I said 3-1 or 4-1 with an empty net goal. And with 5 minutes left, it was 3-1. And I started thinking about it in my head about how I said that. And then next thing you know, it's 3-3. So
Yeah.
Part of me just wants to keep my mouth shut because I don't even want to think about my score prediction. It's tough because I do agree with you. It is so hard to keep this Islanders team off the board. Because even I think what they've had 4 games with 3 and 1 game with 4, which the 4th was an empty netter. So they're a steady 3 goals no matter who's in net. So part of that wants me to say Carter Hart, it almost felt like Carter Hart kind of stole that game and they still scored 3. So if Carter Hart can actually steal a game, I'm going to say the Islanders only get 2. I'm going to say 3-2 or 4-2. Flyers win. Force a game 7. And if that is the case, I'm going to say it now. Actually, no, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Never mind.
We need Montreal game 3, game 4, Carter. That's what we need. We need that frustration to start setting in for the Islanders. You know what I mean? You've got to frustrate them. You can't give them what they want. Yeah.
And I guess another way you could look at it as they really only had 2 goals, in my opinion, in that game. I don't even count the first one. So, I'm saying a goal or 2 from Hart. So my 3 stars, I'll exclude him because I throw him in every 3 stars because like we said, that's the obvious one. He's going to need to be the best the playmaker, the game changer on our team. So that's obvious. I'm going to say I agree with you. I think Kevin Hayes, I said it last game, but he had a couple good looks last game. I think he gets one in the back of the net, and that streak continues with his goal scorer, and the Flyers win. Hayes, I'm going to say his line mate, if they still are line mates next game, Travis Konechny, gets his first of the postseason because we saw Giroux get one. We saw JBR get one. Now it's time for TK to go out and get one and really get the wheel spinning. And I'm going to agree with you that a defenseman steps up, and I'm going to say Matt Niskanen.
Okay.
Matt Niskanen with an assist and a goal.
Okay. Another player that I think could step up because he's been quiet this series is Voracek. I think that if he gets one, we need him to be going. We need all wheels moving right now, man.
The power play, man. That's one last thing before we end this here. The power play, please step up. Matt McGinty, 2 comments at the end of our show. He's going Scott Lawton, and he's going 3 goals.
Reserve all 3 stars for Scott Lawton.
Again, I don't even know what to say to you at this point. He's not a hero that we want. He's not a hero that we need.
I'll take him.
No, I will not take him. I will not. I don't even care that he scored. Should have been Provorov's goal. How about that? All right, guys. Let's go Flyers. Let's hope the wheels keep spinning 1 game at a time. It's not over till it's over. And let's see next time we talk if we're talking about a game 7. Have a nice night.